Hey, all you Loganites out there. So, last time we were left off on the Appalachian Trail saga, I was down in Key West. I was sitting on the beach. I got the email that said I had my ATT, my green card to go test. I had a decision to make. Do I drive back, or do I set my test date for 7 days in the future? Or do I set it a month in the future? If I set it 7 days in the future, I have to drive back the next day, do a 24-hour drive back, get back to my mom's place, and start studying. Or I can take the month, waste some time, and put me back on the on my trail time. So I don't know what to do. What do you do? I mean, what decision do you make? Well, Logan being a Logan, I didn't want to miss out on the Appalachian Trail, so I set it for 7 days. Now, my idea was, I wake up early, I drive back the 100-mile, like 2-lane road back to the mainland down the Keys, or whatever it is, 150, I don't know. You drive back the 150 miles back, and then at least I'll be on the mainland to get out of all the traffic. At least I won't get caught up in all the traffic like I did coming down. So that's exactly what I did. I got up at 3 in the morning. I drove back, and there was some guy, he had Florida tags. It was like a big Tahoe or something. He would go from like 100 miles an hour going down the 2-lane down to like the speed limit, and then all of a sudden he would speed back up. So I was like, oh, this guy's a local, I know what's up. So I'm just gonna follow him, and we did 100 miles an hour for like a lot of the trip. He didn't play, man. He really did not. So we got back to the mainland, came all the way up, went through all of Florida, all the way through Florida, man. It was so rough, man. Watching the sunrise in a car like that, it just isn't fun. Because like you see it like, what, it was on my right, coming up over the ocean. And then as the day progressed, you know, it goes up and up and up, and it, you know, kind of stayed on that course because I kept going in the same direction. I didn't really turn. I just kind of went up Florida toward Memphis. But I'm going up through Florida. I did not realize how many toll roads there are in Florida. Holy crap, I got probably $20 in toll tickets that I didn't know how to even pay. Well, let me phrase that. I knew how to pay them once I got the tickets. I did not know how to pay them while I was down in Florida. I couldn't figure out, where do I stop? Where do I go? Like, this is so confusing. I'm just gonna roll through it, get all the tickets later. Not too bad though, not too bad. I did have one issue coming back. I had a tire blowout on me in the middle of bum nowhere, Alabama. And now I say blow, it blew one of the bands around it. So I'd stopped to get some gas, and I felt that whoa, you know. Yeah, you know. So I felt that, and I was like, oh crap, man. What have I gotten myself into this time? So I went back and put my hand around the tires, and I went like this, and I stuck myself with all the metal band pieces. And I was like, son of a gun, it's 5 o'clock. I'm in I don't know where, Alabama. I need new tires. Like, or I'm gonna be grounded here for the night, and I'm so tired. I don't really want to spend the money on the place. I don't want to sleep in the car. I just want to get back home and be done with it. So I found like a Firestone. I called like Walmart, somewhere else, and finally the Firestone was like, we got it. If you show up in the next 20 minutes, we'll get you taken care of. Drove over there, they hooked me up, and then I ate some dinner while they were doing it, and I made it the rest of the way home. I will say, so, you know, I had the little knee injury at the beginning of the summer. On the, about like midnight, I guess, I stopped somewhere, and I was kind of tired. I got some gas, got some energy drink. And I was like, you know, Logan, I've got these like muscle relaxers from the knee injury. Why don't I like spice it up a little bit? Why don't I, you know, make them more fun? And, you know, liven it up a little bit, right? Like, that seems like a good idea. Now, muscle relaxers, keep that in mind. So I took one, and I'm going down the road, and in about 30 minutes, I feel it kick in. And I tell you, I'd already been up till like 3 a.m. to midnight, so almost 24 hours at that point. I feel it kick in. I'm like, oh, my eyelids are so heavy. And I tell you what, I was literally, like, one eye, I could not keep both eyes open. One eye just kept going down. It was like an old man trying to keep his shirt down. The belly's too big. It just wouldn't happen. I just could not, like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So I was like, oh God, either I need to pull over, and either I need to do something intense to get myself up or not, or just sleep, because I was only like 3 hours out from Memphis at that point. So I pulled over, went to another gas station, got another energy drink, went to the bathroom, and I washed my face really good with soap and water, like ice cold soap and water. I looked at myself in the mirror. I was like, Logan, you need to stay awake, or you need to stop. That's the only option. And then I went, I got this, Logan, don't worry. Then came back, pow! It's like, no. And I actually did slap myself. I was like, pow, I'm not gonna do it now because it actually kind of hurt. Hit myself. I was like, you got this. I was like, yes, I do. So then I kept going, and man, I'll tell you what, don't ever do that crap. That was so dumb. That was so dumb. I was like, what are you doing, Logan? This is how you get this. Like, this is how you get into trouble. Open mouth, insert foot. That's Logan special right there. So, tidbit, future Logan, don't ever do that again. It's just, it doesn't liven anything up. It makes it much worse, actually. Because then when you're going through nowhere, Mississippi, and it's only you on the road for an hour at a time, like you don't even see any headlights, you're just kind of like, this is how people die. So, I got home safely. I know when I say home, I got to my mom's house and went straight to bed. Slept for like a day. When I woke up, I was at this point, I've got like 5 days till I take the test. And I got to take the test in Nashville. It's pretty intense, man. And when you finally get that letter or that date of when you're going to test, it really does give you the motivation. Because I had the book, like when I first started hiking the Appalachian Trail, I actually took my study workbook with me. It weighed over a pound. I put the workbook in the back of my backpack, and I didn't look at it. And when I was down in the Keys, before I got the email to test, I had my book. I didn't really look at it. I mean, there's not really much intrinsic motivation until you get the date. And then you're like, oh God, this is the day I have to take a national registry board. This is the day that I pass or I fail and have to spend $200 more. If I fail, I'm also like that guy. Nobody wants to be that guy. Don't be that guy. So, I got 5 days. I bought 3 gallons of ice cold coffee, like the iced coffee, like cardboard. Bought 3 gallons of that, threw it in my mom's fridge, and I just stayed there because I wasn't living anywhere at the time because I'd got a leave of absence from work and stuff, so I didn't have a place. Stayed there for the 4 days before. Sun up to sundown, just studying. Sun up to sundown, just studying. And I only did like the Hearst review and then the Hearst little workbook. Not too bad. Morning of, I drive up to Nashville like 2 hours earlier than I should have. You know, I circle the place, I go in, make sure I know where the testing center is, go get me some food, then go take the test. Now, I'm a smart dude, and I feel like everyone says this because it's true. The NCLEX, which is the national board, is a computer adaptive test. It makes you feel dumb. It can range from 75 questions to like 200 and plus questions. If you get enough right in the 75, it'll cut off at 75, but it doesn't give you like a warning or a flash screen or anything. It legit just cuts off. Like I had this happen to me when I took my paramedic class. You'll look at the question numbers. You're like, all right, I started the test 1, and then you'll be at like 15, and then 35, and then 50, and then like 65, and then you take a few more questions, and then all of a sudden the computer screen just goes black. It doesn't say, oh, you finished. It doesn't say anything. It just legitimately, when you hit that next button, like you've done 74 times before and it went to the next question, that 75th time, it just goes bloop bloop. The testing center can't tell you anything. You can't find anything out. It's just done. So it makes you feel, it really does make you feel dumb because there's no feedback. Also with the computer, the reason it also makes you feel stupid is with the computer adaptive. If you get hard questions right, it gives you harder. And they kind of have like a point system. So the more harder questions you get right, the less questions you have to take. The downside is you get an easy, a medium, a hard, a super hard, a ridiculous hard. Then they'll throw in like what they call like questions they're not sure if they want to add in next year. They're like, not review questions, but questions that don't count for anything, that may be really far out there. They throw those in, and then now you're off your footing. You look at it and you go, shoot, I don't know, when does the sperm become a zygote? I don't know that. And I'll be honest, I missed a question of mine because, you know, mono, like, oh, my neck hurts, oh, I can't bend, mono. It's the Epstein-Barr virus. Mono isn't mono, it's mononucleosis, or something like that. It's a lot longer than just mono. Well, I saw the mononucleosis, and I'm like, well, I know what mono is, but I don't know what mononucleosis is, so I got the question wrong. It's just little details that you have missed, that you didn't know you missed. You don't know what you don't know, remember? They get you, and it makes you feel dumb. So I finished my test, and I finished my test. I feel so dumb. I'm 3 hours away from home. I leave the testing center, I get in the car. I mean, I'm not gonna stop anywhere, I just get in the car. I already had a full tank of gas because I knew I wasn't gonna feel good afterwards. I'm driving home. I called Braxton, my study buddy, and I was like, dude, I failed. I freaking failed. I failed. So, looks like I'm not going back to the trail. Looks like I'm gonna have to sit in Memphis and study for 2 months. Looks like I failed. He goes, oh no, it's not that bad. Like, yeah, I failed. I failed. Well, that 3 hour drive felt like about 9 to 12 hours because, you know, I'm not the best, and I'll be honest with y'all. I looked at the Tennessee State website on my phone. I kept refreshing like every 5-10 minutes. Like, I think I had music on, maybe not. Who remembers at that point? But it was such a long drive, really long. When I got back to Memphis, it was, say 8 lunch, probably about 4 or 5 when I got back to Memphis. Sat down. By like 9-10 o'clock that night, the Tennessee State website had my nursing license on there, and I'd passed. And I felt like the stupidest person in the world, legitimately. Like, I should have studied more, should have done more stuff, should have been more active in class. Like, oh my god, I just wasted like 2.5 years of my life. What have I done? But I passed, and I'm working as a nurse now, so it happens. It really does. Let's see. So, I passed. I'm free and clear. Now, at this point, it's been about 3 months. No, not 3 months. About like a month and a half since my knee injury. I've done the swimming. I've done the biking. I've stayed off of the mountains, kept weight off my back. I'm ready to go back into the trail. So I tell Caleb, it's like my brother, I was like, I'm ready to go back. I'm ready to go back and get on the trail. He goes, all right, when you're ready to go. I was like, give me like a week, or maybe even 5 days. So in 5 days, we packed up all of my gear again, just like I did the first time, with the same shoes, with hiking poles this time, with the same backpack, the same pad, everything I had before. I did almost everything the same, except this time I was gonna take it easy, use the knee brace, use the hiking sticks. That's the only change up. The exact same thing, and last time I got seriously hurt. Like, only tendonitis, but it's a mobility thing. It's not like you got tendonitis of your left wrist. You got tendonitis in the thing that helps you go get food. The thing that you have to carry a bowl of food. Oh man, I think it's about to rain. I took a little walk today, and I decided this would be a nice place to talk about what happened next. I might have to bug out here in a moment, but we'll see. So I'm going to do all the same things that I did the first time, except for the knee brace, the hiking poles, and taking it easy. That's scary. Like, Caleb took me out there, and this time I went out there. We get to where I came off. It's the exact same place that I had to hobble down the mountain he dropped me off at. It's right outside of Hiawassee, Georgia. And I mean, I'll be honest, my anxiety's high, my stress is high. I was like, Caleb, I don't know how this is gonna play out. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, this is exactly like what I did before to get hurt. I'm doing the exact same thing. He goes, you're gonna be fine. You're good. If you need anything, I'll come get you. Don't worry about it. I said, okay, cool. So I got back on the trail that first day, and I remember this. I drank all my water that I had and then poured out any extra, like cameled up real hard. And I hiked in like the first 5 miles that day. Stayed at a shelter that night with some Mormons, actually. And the Mormons is like a group of Boy Scouts, and I'm an Eagle Scout, so I can connect with any Boy Scout. But they're really heavily into the whole Mormon thing. Like, it was more churchy than scouty. You know what I mean? They were really nice and really fun and really cool. The 2 adult leaders were the ones that I actually hung out with. The kids, you know, are kids. They're running around getting into crap, whatever. But the adult leaders were super cool. One dude had traveled a bunch and done like snowmobiling and like all this winter stuff, because he was originally from up north that I had never done, which I thought was super cool. Not for me, but I can expect the adventurer in him. They're both engineers from, I think, Alabama, whatever the county is down there that has all the rocket engineers. And they actually gave me a lot of free food because I didn't bring a stove with me that second time. I didn't really want the extra weight. I wanted to be legitimately as light as possible, like bare bones necessities. So I didn't bring a stove, and like they would be, hey Logan, we got some of this extra freeze-dried meal. You want some? Like, hell yeah, I do. And they fed the hell out of me. And because, so I had the knee injury, so I was only going to do like 5, 6, 7 miles for a week, a solid week. I'm only doing 5, 6, 7 miles for a week. I'm not gonna be moving fast, so I don't figure anyone's gonna be with me for the first week. Well, the dude that's actually the venturer is also having knee issues, so they're only gonna do 5, 6 miles a day. So we actually hung out for 4 or 5 days. I mean, it was super cool. They kind of like inducted me into their little clan. I didn't feel pushed to have to hike far. I didn't feel pushed to have to get up early. There was people to hang out with, because you spend a lot of time at camp when you're only hiking 5, 6, 7 miles a day. I mean, it was just a good setup. Now, the cool thing is I did get to learn a lot about the religion, and I didn't realize that Mormons, which, you know, every religion's a little out there, outside looking in, okay? This is just my perspective looking into theirs. And is any of what I'm about to say factual? I don't know, because I didn't actually go look any of this up or read the Book of Mormon or whatever it is. But basically what he tells me is you had your 12 disciples in the east. Well, when we came to the west, some guy decided, well, we need 12 more disciples. So he writes a book based on finding some plates out in the desert, now desert being like Arizona, about the next 12 disciples. And I don't know if they were actually real people that were living. It was like 1600s, 1700s. I don't know if they're actually living real people, but he just found some plates in the desert that said this is the continuation of the Christian faith, and this is how it's going to be. There's going to be people on the moon. We're going to have multiple wives, and these are our 12 new disciples. We had him over there. We need to have him over here. Does that make him Jesus? I don't know. If you have 12 disciples and Jesus have 12 disciples, there's two things in common. Just saying. Kind of putting yourself on a high pedestal. But whatever. So I asked them, you know, they said the plate thing, and as soon as they said the plate thing out in the desert and all that nice jazz, in my head I go, y'all are crazy as hell. This is the craziest thing I've ever heard of. And then a light popped on in my head. I go, oh, this is how people probably look at me for what I believe in. I should not be so quick to judge. Right? It's kind of cool to have those experiences. And I believe that when you're hiking and backpacking like that, because you're a very vulnerable population, you get to have experiences like that. Just like the people like putting me up for food. But then, so they tell me about the plates and the stuff. So I asked them, I said, what's up with the extra wives? Why is that a thing with Mormonism? They looked, and like, I think it was one of the youth that actually answered this question. He goes, oh, no. That was way back when, in the pioneer days, when you needed like a man to be around. So a man taking an extra wife was like doing her a favor. They're like, that sounds like a man's perspective on this whole situation. It's kind of interesting. Like I said, I didn't look into it. I don't even know if that's still a current thing or not a current thing. But it was very cool to get that exposure to Mormonism, because I've never had that exposure before. And like I said, the people were very nice, very friendly, very cool. I just look, it's just a little out there for me. It's just a little out there. I'm trying to think. Man, I wish I would have had the video camera out there so that I could have actually recorded all this kind of stuff and different conversations and cool things. Because that's one thing I am noticing. When I record the stuff while it's happening, it actually jogs even more memories. But you know, the Mormons, they were a scout troop. They were only there for, like I said, I was only hiking with them for 4 or 5 days. They had an injured party. It was like, you know, like a week kind of thing, including the drive time. So we eventually got to the point where they were headed to come off the trail. They went down one of the side trails and got picked up and went back to Alabama. But I will say this, if y'all ever do watch this, I really do appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. I did learn a lot, and they even included me in their prayers. It's just, it felt really good, you know? I mean, they were trying to convert me, okay, but in a nice way. They did it really nicely. They really did. And I do appreciate that. But, so, next time on the Logan Adventures, we're going to pick up when I leave the Mormons, okay? And who I run into next to, and maybe a few adventures run along the way. It's going to be cool. It's going to be real cool. Alright, remember, keep your corn on the cob.